Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back. Another episode here of Bass and Furious, guys. So I've got a few minutes here. I am at the tank. So I'm trying to get some of my baits to suspend. So I got a little tip from a guy on a Facebook forum for me fishing these different kind of and bigger swim baits. Some stuff I can do to try to increase my bites and some stuff that might actually work out really good for me when it comes to bait. So I'm trying to do that now. I'm here at my tank. And by tank, I mean my kitchen sink that I put a thing in. And I don't know if you guys fish the 6 cents jerk baits, but they have 6 cents, I believe it's called a Provoke or Provoke X jerk bait. So this one, if you guys fish it, you guys know that it slow floats depending on the type of water that it's in, hot or cold. But it's a slow float, so it always is going to rise. So I was trying to see if I could find, because if you guys fish the megabass or the Vision 110, it just suspends. It just sits in the water. Yeah, 106X. The megabass 110, it just sits. Like, it literally just sits there, like, right at a certain spot. So I am trying my best to try to get this one to suspend, because if it does, then I'm going to fish it a little bit more. I'm not sponsored by 6 Cents. I just fish a lot of their stuff. They've got some really cool colors, and they've always got something on clearance. So whereas you got to spend $24.99 to get one megabass, $9, and another $9, and I can get 3 of these. So trying to make it work, because they have some really great stuff. Everything else of theirs is really good, but I want to try this. So I'm at my tank, and I'm trying. I have cold water. I don't got the temperature, but I just got cold water here now, and I'm trying to drop it in and see if I can get it to suspend. So I figured I'd just bring you guys along with me. So, oh, that's not good. So hold on. I had it perfect before. So throw it in. There you go. So you guys can see it's at the bottom. I think I got it just perfect. It touched the bottom, and now it's just sitting. Just sitting. But it is starting to slowly, very, very slowly, very, very, very slowly, which is fantastic, rise. So basically, if I twitch, pause, and if I get it there, it just sits. It sits right there towards, just hovers kind of in their face, the back end up, which is what you want, and then slowly, you can barely tell, but it's very, very slowly rising. So how did I do that? I'm pretty sure everyone's asking. You guys know all about this already, but if you don't, it can't hurt. I thought about doing it for some stuff, but I didn't do it for this. So these right here, suspend strips from Storm, pieces of lead that attach right to your bait, giving your bait that desired action. So you can add it to your crankbaits, jerk baits, swim bait, whatever you want. You can add it, and it gives you that perfect action that you might be looking for. So I've been sitting here messing with a couple. I got one. This is the other one I've been working with. I wish I had some ones to show you guys how quickly they rise, but throw it in. That one I may have to do a little bit more work on, but maybe not. It's still slowly rising. So I don't know if you guys can see that. Slowly. It did come up. So I don't want it to like rise. I want it to float. I want it to suspend. But if it does anything, I do want it to eventually float up. So I'm pushing both of them down. They both sit at the bottom for a very long time, which is what you want right there. And then they slowly start to come up. So when you put the strips on, you guys may have seen this all the time. YouTube Fishing Vids has a really good video out where he shows you how to break it down. You got to put these on and then cut them to get to your desired length to get the action that you want. So for these two, I think I got it perfect. I could add one more strip, but if I do, it's just going to sink or just sit at the bottom. So I'm not going to do that for this one more. But the big test is not these, because this is good to go. I'm going to go ahead and throw those on my rod and get ready to fish those. Those are good to go. The big test is this. So this is the one that I really got this for. Is the megabass vatalion. So the action on it is great. This color flashes like I've never seen before. It's like fantastic. It's really great bait. I love it. Absolutely love it. I will fish this. I'll grab this probably before I grab a lot of lures right now, because this thing is money. I do have to replace the hook though, because that big fish bent me up quite a bit. So I got to replace that, but no big deal. And that big fish, and then I think I got it hooked in something. But this is the test. So this one right here, when you drop it in, it rises back up relatively quickly, but not with the strip. So you put the strip on, it's kind of just hovering. It's kind of just hovering right there. It still hasn't Well, maybe just a tad. It did come up just a tad, but that's kind of where it's sitting at right there. Just sit, sit, sit. I may need one more strip because it's rising. It's not going fast at all. It's actually like perfect just to sit there and entice whatever fish I'm trying to catch. It's just sit there. Nah, it rises a little too fast. So, matter of fact, this is good. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing here. So, let me flip you around real quick here so you can see. All right, so I want to get this to rise a tad bit slower, but it's already rising relatively slow. So I don't need a big strip. I'm going to just put a tiny, tiny little strip on here. Little knife. I'm going to just put it on here, then I'm going to cut it. But little knife. I'm trying to put it on this little part. Still don't want it to look bad. I still want it to look good. Look like a good looking bait. See, I got it on there. I just need a tiny strip. So I'm going to cut off a tiny little strip. There you have it. Hopefully this is good because this strip don't feel like it's trying to stay on there. With this one though, I had to put like 4 suspend strips on this sucker to get it to even remotely have an impact. 4 on 2 different spots. So I had to use a lot of the stuff. But I'm going to try this one more strip. Do I got it? I think I got it. No, I don't got it. I don't got it. I don't got it. It's sinking. So that tiny little strip. And look how small that strip was I put on there. No, for this one, I've got some on the top already, and I got some on the middle. And now I'm putting a couple on the back. I want it to sit just kind of just flat like this is what I'm going for with this, just flat, because I let it run right up right beneath the surface. That's what's been getting me almost every bite I've gotten. I get smacked on this thing so often, it's ridiculous. Like from the first time I threw it, I got smacked. Literally, I had the biggest fish I've seen this year chase it, come in hot too, like trying to get it. The very first time I pitched this thing out, like on my first cast. Second cast, I had a chain pickerel, or I'm sorry, third cast, I had a chain pickerel come and take it right out of the water, and I hooked him and got him to the boat, to the bank, I should say. Okay, that is, oh, is it perfect or is it perfect? It might be perfect. It's just hovering. It's hovering right beneath the surface. Just hovering. So here, let me show you guys hovering. Where the heck? Okay, so I think you can see it right beneath the surface. Kind of. It just came back to the top, I think. But that's where it's at. So it goes down. I twitch. Actually, I'm not twitching. I'm just turning the rod handle. So how you fish this bait, you just really turn the rod handle. Okay, but now it's sinking. The back end is up, but the front end is all the way down. So I'm gonna take a little bit of weight off the front of it. I'm gonna try that. So this is pretty much how this process works with these suspend strips. You just really wanna dial it in, and then when you get it set, oh, it's lights out. So I don't want that head to sink, so I took a little bit off the front. Okay, now it rose back up pretty quick, but then it hovers. All right, now let me mess with it. So it's floating again, which is good. I pushed it all the way down to the bottom, and it has just enough to where it hovers. It comes up to the top. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this knife away from my eyeball. Just enough to where it comes up to the top really slowly. But it literally just hovers and sits there. It hovers like that far above the water. Just enough to entice a fish to come and smack it. And then it rises up ever so slowly. Hold on, guys. Alright, so it rises up ever so slowly, which is absolutely perfect. So that's what I want, and that's where I'm going to leave it at with that. So The Storm suspend strip. So like I said, you can add it to your crankbaits, your jerkbaits, anything you want. You just want to kind of tweak it. So I basically created a tank tonight. I just went out and got something out of my yard and that holds water, and I added cold water. So matter of fact, I'm gonna change the temperature of the water real quick. I'm gonna put some warmer, because if it's barely going right now, if I add some hotter water, it might actually, it'll speed up a little bit, and that's probably what I need here coming up soon. Fish ain't gonna be slow for too long. If you guys live here in Virginia, you guys know what I'm talking about. The weather's about to get right. The weather's about to get right, and these fish about to start to bite. So alright, so the water's kind of, it's a little bit different temp now. So let's try this. Sorry, let me bring guys back. Alright, so oh boy, that, if I push it, that is hovering. Alright, let me circle back so I can show you guys. So that is hovering, so you guys can see it. It is barely slowly rising. Slowly rising. So it sits down there for a while and then just ever so inches up. Okay, so that warmer water definitely makes a difference. It rises a little bit quicker, but I still think it's slow enough. It rises slow enough compared to what it usually rises, to where I think that's going to give me just a tad bit. Because you guys know, like I know, sometimes you'll get a fish that follows your bait and you twitch, and then you let it sit. And if the bait rises like too quickly to the top, they won't come up. It won't come up and get it. They just watch it rise, and then they wait for that next action to go. So this slowly rising, intense, I think it just makes it like an intense standoff. And then the fish, like right there, just sits right there, just right in his face. I twitch, and it just hovers right there in his face for a little while. Then it comes up, then he smacks it. So actually, with that warmer water, I think it rose a little bit faster than I originally anticipated. So I think I'm going to add one more tiny strip back on here. Man, it will be right in the strike zone. As soon as I pause, it'll be right in the strike zone, and it will sit. Oh, that little piece made all the difference, I think. That tiny little piece made all the difference. Look at that. Look how it just sat there, and it's coming up even slower. Oh, boy. That's about the temp of the water right now, just based on what I've been feeling. Looking for giants. That right there, look at that right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's sitting right there. Barely wiggling. Rise. Boom. That's it. I got bit. I landed a 4-pounder. I won the tournament. Thanks to a tiny. So if you look at the bottom, this is it, the bottom of the suspension. So I got one up front, one in the middle, and a little janky part in the back. But those tiny little pieces in the back and that tiny little, I don't know if you can see, I slit that part in the front. That tiny little piece on the front right is the one I just added that got me to perfect. So I could probably mush them together and make it look a little nicer, but oh, it's absolute money, I think, man. Because the action on it, like I said, if I had it on the rod, you guys could see that when you twitch this thing, it darts, it turns around and faces, like it does some really sick stuff. The megabass vatalion, I got a couple more coming. This bait is pretty sick. I really like it a lot. So I needed more colors though, so I got more colors. But that right there, look at that, guys. Look at that. It just sits there. It just sits and barely rises. So the warmer the water, I think if I read it correctly, it'll rise a little bit faster as it heats up. But that's fine. It still gives me just slow enough. So that's perfect. Oh, man, that's money. I'm going to go back and try the other baits in the warmer water. These are the 6-cent jerk baits. So look at that. Look how it just sat there. Oh, my goodness. You know what? This is an iPhone. I think I can put it in there for you guys. Hold on. Yeah, look at that right there. So you guys can see. Look at that. It still hasn't got to the top yet. It's just sitting there. So if anything, I just wanted to float at the very end of the day. Very lightly float. But look how it's just sitting there. Now that's a jerkbait. That might give me the same action that I want. The one I get from my 110. Because I love throwing 110s, don't get me wrong. But I also love throwing stuff people ain't throwing. And not everybody, especially here in Virginia, not everybody's out there throwing 6 cents lures. But if you guys look at these colors are phenomenal. Look at that. That just sits there. A little bit warmer water. It's just hovering. Look at that. It's not even rising. It's just suspending. And that's exactly what I want. But if anything, at the last second, it does start to float. It starts to float, float, float. Oh boy. All right. So now, all right, I might catch some fish now. These big bass dreams might become a reality now. Save some money. That's what I'm telling you. Like, that's the thing. I mean, I'm gonna go broke. Like, these vatalions, they're $30 each, man. $30 each. The 110s, $25. You buy 4 110s, it's $100. Let's the electric bill. Like, that's just for 4 baits, and you may end up hooking that sucker in a tree on your first cast. Like, that's why I don't fish them unless I go from the boat. Hey, fishing every day. What's up? What's up? So just talking about suspending my jerk baits manually suspending my jerk baits. The suspend strips, you can get them for like $7-8 different places. I'm doing good. How about yourself? How about yourself? Yeah, see, losing 110s makes you cry. Losing a 110 makes an adult man grown cry. Adult woman grown cry. People cry when they lose 110s. Like, you literally feel like you failed as a person if you lose a 110. I hate it. I hate it, man. I'm trying to say it's so bad. And it's the one time you're in a boat, like you fish and you twitch paws and you realize that hook set was into a tree. And then you hate to tell your tournament partner to be like, can we go back and get that? But he'll understand if you tell him it's a 110, but you just hate to lose him. So I fish everything but a megabass unless I'm in my own boat. In my own boat, I know I'll go back and save them. So I go back and get them for my 110s. But these Provoke X's, these things are money. The colors are good. The action's good. It was just a matter of trying to get them to suspend. And as you guys can see by my tank demonstration, which I just came up with tonight, look at that. They just sit there at the bottom. I push them down. They just sit. Normally these ones float. I've added some suspend strips to them, and they don't float. Even if you want, even like your Rapalas that you get, if you get some Rapala ones, and I got some Rapala ones that are rising ones. Your Lucky Craft, your pointers. I usually fish like Jackall re-range. Those are my probably my favorite jerkbaits, Jackall re-ranges. $15 each, and those suspend perfectly. They just sit there. They're beautiful, beautiful. But all things considered, if I can spend $9 on this, get some suspend strips, match it up perfectly, I got a really quality bait from a quality company, and I did it myself, modified it myself. So if I catch a fish on this, you guys will be the first to know. But I wanted to do that tonight real quick, show you guys inside the tank of how I'm doing these baits. And the biggest one I was working on was my megabass, my vatalion. You guys saw how it sunk that quickly, and then you see how it slowly is suspended. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's not suspended no more. I must got too much stuff in there. Hold on. The modification. This is a modification fail. If this thing doesn't float. If it sinks, it's going right into a tree. Because you twitch and the action's too wild. It'll go right into... Okay, now it's rising. Must have been too many things in there. So as long as 3 people aren't throwing jerk baits at the same time, I'm okay. Look at that. Now it's slowly rising. Slowly rising. But it's suspending right there, hovering beautifully. Slowly rise. I'm pushing it down. It just touched the bottom. You guys just saw that. And now slowly rising. Megabass Vatalion modification. Little tip a guy shared with me. I hope he doesn't kill me or try to sabotage me for sharing it with my Bass and Furious friends. But you guys got to know this, because when you learn stuff like this, I ain't trying to keep this to myself, man. I want everybody who follows my channel, everybody who follows me and supports me in this journey, I want all of y'all to win your tournaments. I want everybody to win their tournaments. I don't want to be the only one out there winning. I don't want to be the only one with a bunch of tips and tricks that these older gentlemen have shared and passed on to their nephews and grandkids that don't nobody else share. And you just get smacked by them every time you go to the water because they do this little tricks. I'm like, oh, I was throwing that bait all day, and you were throwing exactly... Have you guys ever done that in a tournament? Hold on. Let me talk to you guys real quick. Have you guys ever done that in a tournament? You fish the tournament, a guy comes back to the ramp, he tells you he threw the exact same thing that you threw, and you tell him you threw that exact same thing all day, yet he took second place and took home cash, and you came home empty-handed? Has that ever happened to you? If it has happened to you, then you understand what I'm trying to tell you about these modifications. Sometimes it's not what you throw, it's where you throw. And then sometimes it's not what you throw, it's what you did to what you're throwing. So The guy that throws the same crankbait that you threw all day, but he's throwing it on 20-pound monofilament and you're throwing it on 12-pound fluoro, he got bit, you didn't, and you're like, but I'm doing. Yours was sinking, his was rising barely above the grass, yours was going into the grass, and you kept having to get hung up and smack the water with your bait every time. His rode just that perfect angle right above the grass, and he kept getting bit. He caught like 30 fish, and you caught one keeper that was too small, and you had to throw it back. Exactly. It always comes down to the little things. That's my one tip for you guys that I will always share on this channel. Always comes down to the little things. So stuff like this, adding little weights to your bait. Stuff like changing your fishing line. You fish 15-pound mono instead of 12-pound fluoro on a crankbait. See what happens. Rides a little bit higher. Might be just what you need to get above that area where you don't you tickle the grass, but you don't go into the grass and then end up not catching the fish. Sometimes ripping out the grass is good. Sometimes coming right above is good. So just depends. Little tips, little tricks. Those are the things that make the difference in winning tournaments or going home and trying to explain to everybody how you got your butt kicked again. So hope you guys enjoyed. Quick trip to the tank, Bass and Furious. I got stuff to do this evening, but wanted to hop on with you guys real quick. Hope you enjoy. Till next time, Bass and Furious friends. Peace.